right, welcome back. The show is Wake Up Sierra Leone here on AYV Television, on Channel 33, on the STV Channel 399, and on Radio FM 101.7. Don't forget to share with us your views. Continue to send them on the AYV Sierra Leone Facebook page. Like I mentioned earlier, today exclusively, we shall be talking about a crisis that took place yesterday in Sierra Leone, especially the country's capital and in some districts and towns of the north, where we all saw the atrocities committed by protesters. And I mean, innocent lives were lost, police officers were killed, government buildings were burnt down, vehicles were burnt down, innocent passengers flying were also targeted, and their properties damaged, carted away. Looting took place according to reports coming in. Many have condemned the act. We've seen different press statements from almost all civil society organizations and some government institutions condemning the violence yesterday. So let's just go back to what happened in the early hours of yesterday's protest and get a picture of what we shall be discussing this morning. Let's go back to yesterday and take some clips.
This guy, when I can't follow, we saw this guy. No, you can't go. Which one? Yeah, this one, the car can't just go. Viewers and listeners of the Young Voices Media Empire, of course, some situations here at the east end of Freetown, very much tense, I can say. Very tense, because this is the only point we've seen the youths barricading roads and burning tires to obstruct vehicular movement. But the police and the military, they don't actually force them to go backward, and then they clear the roads. And will not forget to say we then at the east end of Freetown, and of course Porty, we're there right now. Porty Junction, outside we see one dead body, we get police uniform near him. We don't know whether it's police, but it's okay. The military man just tell me it's police, and of course we don't know that kill him, but they don't do in that one, the police uniform they play by. The youthman then they come back. I was on the ground. You expand them, even though the military and the drive them, but still they come back. Hold on. The situation very tense, even though the military officers they actually ask the people to go backward, but they still can't. They advance, say they have this, they want, and they can tell one. Definitely see one country maybe get police uniform here and PSD. Expanding our country, they go and come back. Let's go. 6,000. point to some workers see the body, the police from the body and people like fan police and the police officers. At the east end of Freetown, beside the military officers, really only try to quell that situation. The youths are so desperate. Then you go and come. The youths are so desperate. See, they want peace.
That was how Freetown looked yesterday, what we were able to capture during the early hours of the protest. Online now is the Deputy Minister of Internal Affairs, retired Lieutenant Lahai Lawrence Leema. Sir Minister, good morning and welcome to Wake Up Sierra Leone.
Good morning, Samuel, and good morning, the public, and thank you for having me on the AYV.
Thank you for accepting to speak to us. First off, what does the ministry in charge of internal security make of yesterday's crisis?
Well, it's quite unfortunate. We consider this act as one that is premeditated, a rebellious act against a legitimate, democratically elected government. But we were able to assess the situation and took steps to be able to put the situation under control. As it is, the security is on top of the situation, but the message we want to send clearly is the fact that nobody engaged in such rebellious act against a democratically elected government and think they'll go free with it. We want to thank all the security apparatus for putting up their best yesterday for us to prevail and make sure we preserve the existence and survival of the state.
Let me quickly ask you this question. You submitted that it was a deliberate attempt by protesters. Now, when you say that, what does that really speak to? Does that really speak to the fact that there were signs, there were warnings, there were red flags that that particular protest was going to take place? What exactly did that speak to, the act being deliberate?
Samuel, since the inception of this government, the leader, the flag bearer of the of the All People's Congress, the last presidential flag bearer of the All People's Congress, Mr. Samura Kamara, is on record of saying that he will make this government ungovernable. And true to their words, they have been following this through. The publicity secretary of the APC was on radio, that on the very AYV we are speaking, that they will make sure that they will de-escalate the security situation in this country to the point of activating level 3. And in follow-up to that, we've also had Adebayo. I really do not sometimes want to mention him, but he is very conspicuous in all of this, and he is a political ventriloquist who is speaking the minds of the APC, and there has not been any time that the APC has ever come up with a press release to dissociate themselves from the actions of Adebayo. And this individual has caused a lot of atrocities, and he has been clearly identified with the APC. And there was also a time when Cherry Coco, the leader of the APC in Parliament, was in England in a certain APC meeting where somebody asked him, when are they going to unseat the president? And true to their words, they have been following this through. But we want to tell them that we are equal to the task, and we put stop to this situation now. And any further step now to degenerate the security situation will be dealt with decisively.
As the Deputy Minister in charge of internal security of the state, attributing yesterday's crisis to statements that have been made, which according to you are deemed threats to the state. What was the security checks? What were the plans? What were the mechanisms? You're saying those statements were red flags. Those statements were threats to the security of the state. And apparently now, those statements are the things that occasioned yesterday's crisis. So should we say the internal security did not take those statements seriously, or was it just negligence on the part of the security sector?
The security sector had not taken those statements seriously to work ahead of them. We would have been talking something different. But because we've been ahead of them, and at the same time, we also have to be professional in our approach in all of these. So we were able to manage the situation, and that is why, as I speak to you now, there is calm in the city, and we would ensure that we maintain robust patrol to continue the calm in the city, and we would also make sure that we continue to up our game to making sure that we do not reverse to what happened yesterday, and it's actually going to be the end of it all. We are not going to allow a repetition of what happened yesterday again to continue. We are ahead of our game, and we make sure that peace, order, and stability returns to the state, to the city. And as it is now, it is calm and quiet, and we will maintain this momentum. And we would advise that all those who think that they will continue in such acts in their own best interest and in the interest of the country that all of us have, that they desist and go back to the drawing board and be a peaceful and a law-abiding citizen.
Protesters were chanting that they want peace. That what according to them, what occasioned yesterday's crisis is as a result of the fact that the president and this government has not lived up to the task. So would you still want to attribute the crisis to politics, to the APC, to the statement that you're saying, were in the statements that incited what happened yesterday, if that is anything to go by, when protesters were saying they want peace, President Julius Maada Bio must go. With all of these things, is this a way of saying government should step up and take serious actions against the socio-economic situation of the state?
This is a fallacy. This is a calculated ploy. We've had a situation where we have the then sitting government led by President Ernest Krumah, who siphoned the economy of the state and plundered the economy of the state. You have a government that has assumed a political responsibility of the state with an economy that was at the brink of collapse. The government was able to take proactive steps to restructure the economy and have the economy revamped. And also, the government is doing its best to making sure that even though we've taken over government amidst global crisis, but we have been doing our best to making sure that the economy moves and the country also moves. But because these people have no political agenda, they've decided to take advantage of the gullible youth, which they have actually taken advantage of by plundering the economy of this country and making them as human shield in order to perpetrate their cause of rebellion against this administration. Since their flag bearer has said, their party executives have said, and they are on records that they will make this government ungovernable, they have been true to their words, and they have taken advantage of the poor Sierra Leoneans to make them human shield and come with them forward. Now, the issue of saying that they want President Bio to go. President Bio is a democratically elected president that has the majority of the voters of Sierra Leoneans, which actually took him to governance. And he has been doing his best amidst difficult economy, amidst challenges, amidst the battered system that was inherited by his predecessor. Yet he still remains determined and focused to making sure that he makes Sierra Leone a better place for the survival of us. And you have a destructive opposition APC party that thinks they will take advantage of the gullible citizens or youths to make them a human shield to take advantage of the situation. But we will say that will not go unchecked. As a government, we are fully established and we are on top of the situation. And I want to say kudos to all the security forces for maintaining robustness and to prevail on the situation yesterday. And we will maintain this momentum to making sure that we are in charge of governance. And President Bio still remain in charge of the government and will continue to remain in charge. And we want to say thank you to all security forces for maintaining loyalty to the state and to the democratically elected president.
Leema, is this a moment? Is this a moment to apportion blame? I mean, who is to be blamed for what happened yesterday, or as a ministry in charge of internal security, is this a moment to go back to the drawing board, look at what really transpired, and see, I mean, how we could, as a nation, prevent a recurrence of the situation? Should we not look at, especially now that we're headed 2023 elections, should we not go back and look at how strategically we can upgrade our security and look at what, I mean, the things that prompted yesterday's crisis, to see if we could help to just massage those things and give Sierra Leoneans the choice to choose peace? And again, for many, what happened was as a result of the state not creating an environment for people to register their grievances peacefully. And so all the time that people have asked the police to hold an anti-government protest, they've been rejected. Are all these not the things that escalated yesterday?
Of that sort now will be dealt with decisively.
Hello? Leema, are you there with us?
Yes, Samuel.
Yeah, go ahead, please.
Yes, I've landed. I accept if you have any further questions to ask.
So I mean, let me ask this question. What's the next step? What's the next line of action to forestall any form of violence and continue keeping the peace?
We want to give the public assurance that the security is on top of the games. And at the same time, we continue to maintain robust patrol to making sure that any lawless or irregular youth who tend to disturb the peace of those peaceful Sierra Leoneans who want to go about their normal business will be taken care of. So we want to assure the public that the security sector is on top of its game, and the security sector remain loyal to the state and to the democratically elected president and government of Sierra Leone. We want to say thank you for that, and we continue to assure the public that we have the situation is calm in the city and it's under control, and we continue to maintain robust patrol to take care of anyone who tend to also disturb the peace or peaceful enjoyment of any other Sierra Leoneans who believe in the peaceful atmosphere. So that's the assurance I'll give to the public, that the security sector is on top of the game, and we'll continue to maintain a robust patrol to making sure that peace, law and order prevail in the city and in the entire country.
Does that assurance go for every Sierra Leonean, be red, be green, be blue, be pink? Does that assurance go for every Sierra Leonean? I mean, the assurance of peace, the assurance of security?
That assurance goes for all of them. That is why we are here as a government, to work for the people of Sierra Leone, and at the same time to making sure that law and order prevail for the enjoyment of every peaceful and law-abiding Sierra Leoneans.
Thank you very much, retired Lieutenant Lahai Lawrence Leema, Deputy Minister of Internal Affairs. It's been a pleasure talking to you. Thank you very much, Leema. All right, that was the Deputy Minister of Internal Affairs, retired Lieutenant Lahai Lawrence Leema, speaking to us there on security matters, on what transpired yesterday.